everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Gary, thanks for joining me today. So I'm in touch with some old school friends. We were at school in the mid to late 70s through to early 80s, and we had school bands and stuff like that. And every time we get together, after about 2, maybe 3 beers, certainly by 3 beers, somebody says, hey, let's go and get the band back together. Let's get the band back together. Let's go and like play all stuff. We used to do a lot of rock stuff back in the day. So anyway, just recently through our WhatsApp group, we've decided to do it. We're going to have a practice in Manchester, and we've come up with a list of songs to play. And Dakota was the first one on the list. I've been given a few songs. Of course, these songs weren't around when we had the band originally, but we've moved with the times. We're sort of up to date now. There's no old stuff, and well, Dakota's not that new, but it's new for us. So I've been looking at it today, having some great fun playing it. So thanks to Tom and Dave in particular for arranging all this and getting studio booked and so on. I'm sure we're going to have a load of fun doing it. So while I've been sitting at home playing Dakota today, I thought, well, I'll turn it into a video. I did a James Taylor one yesterday. I've done a couple, and the first one was really popular. Yesterday it seems to be really quiet, so I don't know whether it's no good. It's been met with kind of lukewarm reception really, so please have a look at it and give it a like. I hope you do. I know it's a slightly different audience, there's different sort of material on the channel, but please have a look at that one as well. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please give me a like, ring the bell, subscribe. You'll get to see new stuff as I put it out. Of course, it's free to subscribe in YouTube. It just means that you get to see new material and new videos on my channel. So we're going to get close up for Dakota. It's a nice, easy song to play. I'm going to go through the rhythm part for it. There's 2 guitar parts. So if you're in a band, it's a great song to play in a covers band, a weddings band, something like that. Pretty easy to play. The main part's the rhythm part, so we'll look at that first. And then there's a few different lead parts. The one I played in the introduction is the kind of main one that comes in the chorus, and I've recorded that into my Boss loop station as a one-shot playback, so I can just call it up when I'm playing through it. So we'll get a close-up and we'll go through Dakota. Okay, so we've got a close-up there. So this song, I'll talk about tone settings first and tuning. We're in standard tuning. There's no capo. I've just got some crunch through the amp, using humbuckers on this guitar, of course. As opposed to a single coil, you're going to get more crunch. So I've just got a little bit of gain through the amp, a tiny bit of reverb through the amp, and that's the kind of coarse sound. I've not got any other pedals. But what we are going to do in a moment when I've shown you the chords is turn on a flanger, because the flanger is what gives the opening riff to the song that sort of really distinctive sound. So the first chord, it's an E5, it's a power chord. I'm holding down the E root note on A7 there, and then I'm going to play D and G at the 9th fret, and it's a sort of chugging. You can include the bottom low open E as well, because it's an E chord on the first chord, or you can just play it from the A string, and they're just sort of chugging. I'm muting with the palm of my hand to get that, so you don't want it ringing out at this stage. Just sort of mute the strings, and I'm using downstroke. I wouldn't recommend up and down. It's sort of, and just by taking your palm on and off, you can control how much the strings release and ring out. I tend to play it as a bar chord actually, like that. You can play it like that using your sort of first and 3rd and 4th fingers. Just slide that down to the C sharp position there. So I'm on the A4, that gives us the C sharp root note. The rest of the chord is the same. And then we go down to the open position, so it's an A. The open A string becomes the root note. I'm not holding a full A chord. I quite like the more jangly sound Not so much at this stage in the song, but when we get to the chorus and we play this chord, it rings out better than, in my opinion, than a normal A. So it's like an A5 really, open A string, and D and G at the second fret. And you want to play it quite percussively, so I'll turn the flanger on. If you're using a flanger, you don't need a flanger, but if you have got a flanger, it gives it that real nice sound that you get on the record. And you want to set the rate of the flanger to be quite slow. You don't want it sort of racing away with you. And it can be a challenge actually to play in time with it. So I think the band use pre-recorded sound for this actually. But anyway, just experiment with it, you know, depending on the type of flange pedal you've got. So it sounds like this with the pedal. And that's the verse, most of the song really, sort of. I don't know all the lyrics. Thinking about thinking of you, thinking about thinking of you, thinking of you. Okay, so just practice that, just get nice regular rhythm, nice downstrokes on that, and then we'll look at the chorus part next. So coming into the chorus, I've turned the flanger off now, and as I said before, I'm going to just play this open. We start with this A5 power chord, so I'm not holding the B string down at the second fret like I would with a normal A chord. That's a normal A. You get that, it's more sort of discordant, jangly, it rings out better. So just to sort of come into it as if we would the last couple of bars of the verse. There's like a couple, I think it's accented on the drums actually from memory, and then into this A5. Make me feel like the one, and I'm not chugging along there, I'm just make me feel like the one, just strumming from the open A, picking up perhaps the E and B string. Make me feel like the one, back up to our E5, the one. Okay, so it's really easy, nice easy chords in the verse, and really just that one A5 open chord in the chorus. Final part of chords, chord-wise to show you, there's a sort of bridge section towards the end where the vocals sort of... So we've just got normal E5 chord that we've seen before, power chord. So all we're doing there, we've got the E5 power chord we've seen already. Going to a B chord there, bar chord. I'm just really chugging along on the bottom few strings. Down to an A bar chord. I mean, just really basic, but if you don't know, you've got your normal E chord there. Because E, the bottom E string is the root, you can go up F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and so on, all the way up. So that's all we're doing there, we're just staying on that E flat. So it's 1, 2, 3, listen to the record for reference. You're probably more familiar with it than I am. I need to listen to it myself really, but simple chords there for that last bridge section. I'm now going to look at, there's a few different lead parts, but they're all really easy bits, so I'll show you those next. If you've got two guitarists in your band, one can take those chords for the rhythm parts that I've just shown you, the other can pick up these lead parts as and when they come in. The first time we hear lead guitar is in the introduction, so when we've got this chugging E chord going on there, the first time we hear, we get an E, there's an E note there on the G string at the 9th fret. So we're in E. And then it goes up to the octave on E12 there. And then E again there on the G string, and then to E11. Just realised myself actually doing that you probably want to try and punctuate those notes, because if they ring out together it can sound a little bit too discordant. So just giving it a tiny little bit of vibrato there on B12. And then that's when the vocals come in. There's another little section that you can play that's quite nice actually if you've got a second guitar that's going on behind that in the verse, and it's again. So it's just B12 and G13. So if you imagine I was playing an E bar chord at the 12th fret, those notes are just from within that chord. And we can go up to, with our third finger, to B14. And then I think there's a section that goes as well, which I'm just introducing my third finger there on D14. So very slowly that part. Again, listen to the record for reference to how that bit sounds. I'll show you the chorus part that I did in the introduction on my loop station last, but there's one more little bit of lead that comes in, so it's on that kind of bridge section that I showed you. So I showed you the chords for that. Instead of going down to the A there, what you can do is this. So I'm just on the D string there, 9 up to 11, and then same on G, 9 to 11. And just in case you haven't noticed, I've turned the flanger off for those lead parts, so you only really want the flanger on. If you were doing those parts, you would be playing the lead guitar anyway, you probably wouldn't be doing the flanger part, but just to be clear on that. And the last part of lead guitar to show you is the bit that comes in the chorus section, the bit I've recorded on my looper. And here, it sounds like I'll play through it first and then we'll break it down. So we're on E12 to E11 and then B12 to B9. And again, just give it a little bit of vibrato just to keep those notes in tune. Now, on that B9 note there, what we're going to do next is a bend. So you're bending it up a semitone to that. And it's quite hard actually, it's quite unusual to bend a note up and down for quite so long as that. You've not got tons and tons of sustain on this, it's just a little bit sort of, a bit of grittiness in the tone. So it tends to just bleed out slightly, so you've got to try and keep it going with your finger. The danger of doing that is that you can introduce noise from other strings. And you also have to be careful not to bend it too much, because you can go out of tune, you can bend it a little bit sharp. I've recorded it onto my Boss loop station, so no hands. So if you're going to do that, if you've got a loop station, it's done as a one-time playback, so it doesn't keep going around. You can just store it in the pedal and just call it up anytime you want, assign it a little patch on the pedal, and then you can just call it up anytime you want for the song. So if I'm sort of playing, we're going to go into the chorus now. It's better than not having it at all, I think. I think I'm going to be the only guitarist playing in our old school band when we get back together, and it might be somebody else. If there is, then we can take those parts separately, but I've just recorded that part for now. It sounds quite good when you're just playing it yourself. The danger, of course, in a live setting with drums and all the other instruments is that we could go out of time, and we might not play in time with that loop. So those are all the parts to Dakota. So that's it, that's Dakota. I'm having good fun learning this one too. It's not something I've really played before myself. And guys, I'm looking forward to playing in the band and when we meet in Manchester in October to do it. In the meantime, to everybody else, I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. As always, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts, feedback, ideas for new songs. I absolutely love hearing from you. And enjoy your guitar playing, and I'll see you very soon.